there's something I've noticed this season, yeah? Sometimes when these housemates have their diary session, there are some of them that Biggie, does not hesitate to call out on their bullshit. But then I've equally noticed that there are others that Big Brother gives a pass. Like he allows them, especially when they cry. And it makes me feel like, hold on a second, could it be that the beginning of this season is becoming very soft? Whenever he sees this, or certain housemates, not all of them, but certain housemates, whenever he sees them begin to shed crocodile tears, especially when he's fully aware that they are possibly faking it, right? It tends to go soft on them and does not really call them out on their bullshit, on their lies, on their omission of information, especially on the fact that most of the time, this set of people, they come onto the diary room wearing this cloak of righteousness, this invisible cloak of righteousness, like they're innocent, they're the victim in every single situation they find themselves in that house. I mean, guys, I don't know about you, but I've noticed it. And I'm not liking it at all. I feel like the beginning of the season, in a way, is not really consistent with his judgment. And he needs to get his act together. He's tripping. He needs to get his act together. All right? And why am I saying all of this? I watched Shaun's and Wanni's diary session today. And Shaun came into the diary room crying foul, acting like the victim in that whole situation that transpired between himself and Wanni yesterday. And Big Brother spent most of that diary session stroking his ego. And then towards the end, he now decided to try to make it balanced. But then at that point in time, for me, nah, it's not working at this point. I'm going to explain in details what I mean, all right? So please make sure you watch this video to the end. Do not skip out on any part, all right? And of course, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. You're all welcome to my channel. My name is Bbnaija. This is Frankly Speaking with Bbnaija, and I am the girl with the tea. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not hesitate to give this video a thumbs up if you are enjoying my content. And if you're yet to subscribe, please go ahead and do just that. Make sure you also turn on your post notification bell to always receive a lot of my videos whenever I upload a new one. Now, quickly, let's continue with the details of this conversation. Now, there were other housemates that had their diary session today, but we're talking about Shaun and Wanni's session because remember, they have an existing beef. Yeah, they have an existing lover's tiff and they're yet to resolve it. And so they had both had their diary session. I think it's called consecutively, yes. And I thought we should talk about it first before we address other housemates' concerns, during their own diary sessions, right? So beginning with Shaun. Shaun came into the diary room looking quite prepared to give us a stellar performance. Yes. I mean, this is just my personal opinion, and this is coming from my observation, right? So he came into the diary room. It looked like, oh yes, in this diary session, I am going to vent. I'm going to cry. So people will know that I'm also human. And that was exactly what he did. So he came in and according to Biggie's typical question, in response to that question, of course, he said he was mentally drained, especially by the situations he's finding himself, with the people he is close to in the house. And of course, he was referring to Wanni. And then Biggie had asked him what exactly had happened, and he had told his own side of the story of what exactly had transpired between him and Wanni yesterday. So according to Shaun, they were having a conversation and he was trying to tell Wanni something. He was trying to mention a name, and he did not want to name the name on live TV. So according to him, it was sort of using sign language to try to describe, who this person is. And Wanni was trying to get it, she could not get it. And then because she finally got it, she blotted out the person's name. And that was what triggered Shaun. So Shaun was upset with her, like, why would you mention the person's name? Blah, blah, blah. And she was like, why are you being weird? And that one further triggered him. He was so mad at it, and according to him, he was lashing out at her like, why would you call me weird? Why are you saying I'm acting weird? And he said his annoyance was that she did not see anything wrong in calling him weird, you know, because according to her, she's used to using the word weird. So she doesn't really understand why he's getting all worked up about it. So thankfully, he told the truth that he kept on going on, and he was just venting because he was really upset. And Wanni walked out on him. Now, he felt like her walking out of their conversation was her being hypocritical, because he has done it before and she had complained about it, that she doesn't like it when he does it. And, you know, now she's doing it. And, you know, because he was upset, he was the one that was venting the most. It's frustrating because people would look at him and feel like he's the bad one, whilst Wanni is the damsel in distress. And so they had moved on to the kitchen area and they had continued their argument over there. And according to him, it's just really draining, because it's like he's not allowed to be human. He's not allowed to be imperfect. He's not allowed to express himself, you know, especially when something really hurts him. Biggie did the right thing here, because he had asked Shaun if Shaun had deemed it fit to, you know, explain to her why he found it offensive that she had called him weird. And Shaun had said he's the kind of person that likes explaining things, you know, like if you ask him, he will explain, but if you don't ask, he does not feel the need to explain. And so he had not bothered to explain to Wanni why the word weird, you know, was quite offensive to him, because she did not ask. And ladies and gentlemen, it was at that point that I started racking my brains like, okay, fine. This guy, indeed, you're weird. Because you claim to love explaining things, but you would not give an explanation if someone does not make an inquiry, if someone does not ask, if somebody does not probe. So how is that communication in a relationship? How does that even work? Just when I was having my thinking moment, it was at that point that Big Brother decided to stroke Shaun's ego, and was really annoying to listen to watch, because Shaun was talking and he was giving this, you know, countenance of someone that is very distressed, someone that his mental health wants to just explode all of a sudden. And people that was empathizing with him, you know, telling him that it's not fair, that it is very unfair, you know, for people to continuously, you know, focus on your not so good side, on your negatives, when all the while you've been showing the good side of you. That it's not fair, because after all, you're human. When we live in a world where there are so many perfect humans, you know, how dare they judge? Who are they to judge? Listen, for a moment right there, it felt as though it was Shaun's mom or dad or brother or sister or uncle. In fact, somebody that is from Shaun's immediate family that was encouraging Shaun at that point in time. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I almost lost it. I'm like, Michky, what the hell are you doing? Michky, what the fuck are you doing? Saying that, oh, Shaun has been showing his good side? Really? Like, do we really want to have that conversation right now? Biggie, should we have that conversation? I mean, guys, I get it. Big Brother trying to ensure that Shaun's mental health is fine. But what I was expecting Biggie to do at that point in time was to question Shaun's integrity. You cannot just waltz into the diary room and start acting like the victim in a situation that you obviously escalated by yourself. You can't do that, especially when people are actually watching the show on live TV. I was actually, because Shaun was saying that, oh, in fact, I didn't even mention this. Shaun was saying that, oh, that it feels so bad, that it's so stressful, he's so frustrated because Wanni knows how to bring out the worst in him. I say, God forbid any man that would tell people that I bring out the worst in him. Like, hello, if you have anger issues, it's all on you. If you don't know how to bridle your tongue, if you're always angry and you have the tendency of being violent, it's not on me. It's not my fault. I mean, come on, you can't put it on me saying that I know how to bring out the worst in you. Hello, you bring out the worst in yourself. So when Shaun said it, that Wanni knows how to bring out the worst in him, I said, nah, this guy, you need to see a therapist. You need to see a therapist. Whatever kind of trauma you've gone through that has made you like this, or whether it's a game you're playing or whatever it is, you need to see a therapist. That blue therapy you went for, that was not original therapy. You need a proper therapy. Because, guys, seriously, and see, it was the way Big Brother was even pampering Shaun's emotions for me. I'm like, Big Brother. Big Brother sees everything. Big Brother hears everything. Biggie, where were you when this same Shaun that is claiming that Wanni brings out the worst in him? Where were you when this Shaun belittles Wanni, when he treats her like trash, when he disregards her feelings, when he trash talks her to his friends in the house? Biggie, where were you? Where were you when this girl will be cooking, doing laundry and sexting and doing all whatnot to keep her man? And then this guy will still be disregarding her, treating her like she's inconsequential, treating her like she's insignificant. Like, Biggie, where were you? Big Brother sees and hears everything. Biggie, where were you when most of the time Shaun talks to Wanni like she's a child in the presence of other housemates? When he disrespects her, when he's rude to her, in the presence of people? Biggie, do you want to tell me that your cameras have not been catching all of those moments? And so, the one that happened yesterday, Shaun comes in now, come and say, yeah, Wanni called me weird. You're not coming to come and pamper his ego, for mental health sake. Ha! Biggie, for my hand. For real. I'm so disappointed. Now, guys, you and I know that Shaun is very smart. This guy is extremely calculative. And so, the moment he picked up on the fact that he had Biggie's sentiment on his side, Big Brother, in a way, scolding people that are judging him, and in a way, encouraging him to continue being his strategic self, his dramatic self. Shaun started shedding tears, and he had to use his hoodie to cover his head. And the tears, guys, I'm sorry, I might sound insensitive for this, but I was looking for the tears. They were not particularly flowing, but, they were dropping one after the other. And I'm looking at this guy like this and like, oh my goodness. This guy said he was going to give us drama this week. Could this be the drama? Beginning with Wanni and her sister first. Could this be the drama? Because as he was, oh, Big Brother, it's not easy. Oh, Big Brother, the guy was crying. Biggie was not encouraging him because he was saying that he was actually more concerned about people's perception about him. He doesn't know what people are going to be thinking about him on the outside. People watch these things, he doesn't even know. And people was saying that, oh, why does he care what people's perception about him is? People was encouraging him. Hey, God. And guys, see, at that point in time, I was really pissed at Big Brother because Biggie was encouraging him to not even give an actual F about people's perception about him. And then this guy goes on to say that, oh, he doesn't know what is really bothering Wanni, that maybe she feels like he's not really doing enough, that he knows that he's actually trying, that maybe she feels like he's not really reciprocating his love, that he knows that she does a lot for him, and sometimes he counts himself as blessed, to have someone like her and her sister in the house, someone that takes care of him and does the most for him, but he's also trying to do what he can, so he doesn't know what she wants. I'm like, dude, you're acting like you don't know what you're doing. Anyone that believes that indeed is completely blinded by your accent, because at this point, dude, everything you're doing is so glaring that you don't like this girl, you don't appreciate this girl, you are just using her for the benefits of it all. Yeah, for the gains, for whatever it is that you're getting from her in that house. That's the only reason you are even acknowledging her as the person you are with in the house. Talking about somebody you care about. No, you don't care about the girl. You don't show it, you don't act it, you don't talk it, you don't walk it, it's nowhere near your character at all. Now, it was at this point that Biggie started coming down to reality. Yeah. Biggie went ahead to ask Shaun if he feels remorseful about his actions because of how his actions are perceived, or because of how he made her feel. I guess that's a question. I hope I'm getting it right. And he said, hey, it's a little bit of both, Guys, frankly speaking, I can't even remember the explanation he gave, but at that point in time, yeah, watching the diary session live, I was already losing hope because I was just really mad. Then Big Brother proceeded to ask him what he intended to do about it, and he said he doesn't know because he tried to talk to her the first time and she did not want to talk about it, and in fact they did not reach any headway, and the second time he tried to talk to her again, but it was very obvious that she did not want to talk about it, and so he has decided that he's not going to make any moves to her anymore, that's going to leave it. So he knows that when she does not see him come to her to talk to, when he doesn't come to her to talk to her, she's going to notice that, okay, he has tried, and she's probably going to count the 2 times that he has approached her, and then she's going to be the one to come to him. Hey! Ladies and gentlemen, when Shaun said that, I said, see, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we've been saying. This is what we've been saying. That this guy has been so enabled by Wanni, as in Wanni has showered this guy with so much care, attention, and possibly love, and whatever it is else that she has showered him with. And now this guy feels so entitled. He knows, because every time he and Wanni has issues, Wanni is the one that goes to him to go and apologize and beg him. It's never been Shaun. So Shaun knows that, give or take, give her 1 day, give her 2 days, she's going to come back. She's going to come begging. She's going to come crawling into my bed. So he knows. And so he's folding his arms and he's waiting. He's waiting for that moment. Anyways, finally, on Shaun's diary session, Biggie told him that it was time for him to walk the talk. All of those things that he's always saying that he stands for, all of those principles, that it was time for him to reciprocate the energy. Yes, that he said moments ago that Wanni has shown him a lot of affection, a lot of love, a lot of care, that it is time for him to do the same. It is time for him to be shameless, put down his pride and do the same. But first, before he does it, he should ask himself if Wanni is worth fighting for. And Shaun sat down there for a moment, and then he said, that obviously there's the good side and there's the bad side that she's got. But then when you think about the bad side, like he was trying to say that Wanni's bad side sort of outweighs the good. But that was where people ended his diary session. And guys, I sat down there. I did not know if I should give Shaun a standing ovation or if I should be mad at him. Because as I said at the start of this video, Shaun walked into that diary room prepared to give a stellar performance. And that was exactly what he did. You know, people seeing a young man who is always hard, who is always tough, you know, a man them shedding tears in the diary room. It's going to move people. For me, it was all calculated. Yes, mental health or not involved, it was all calculated, because that young man lied about a lot of the details he shared during his diary session. Yes, it was during Wanni's own session, which happened immediately after his, that we got to find out that Shaun came into that diary room to tell a skewed narrative of what exactly had transpired between him and Wanni. Yes, Shaun told his side of the story, but was it 100% correct? Absolutely not. And you know what they say about human beings? You know, from one person's angle, you are seeing the number 6. But from another person's angle, they are seeing the number 9. Yeah, that was how far from the truth Shaun's own narrative was. Now, quickly, let's get into Wanni's diary session. Now, according to Wanni's own version of what exactly transpired between herself and Shaun yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, it was mostly about Shaun overreacting. So yes, they were having a conversation. Yes, Shaun had been trying to tell her the name of a female DJ. And so because she knew the name of that person, you know, she didn't understand the gesticulations that Shaun was doing. And so she had mentioned the name of the person, and all of a sudden, Shaun started lashing out at her. So she was quite taken aback. And she was like, why are you acting weird? And once again, he escalated his anger towards her. And she was quite confused. And she was wondering, like, what is the problem? Why are you angry at me? If you did not want me to mention the name of the person, you should have told me, because he was just lashing at her like, oh, I was trying to tell you something in private. You just mentioned the person's name. Da, 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 da. He was just angry. So she said she was just very confused. She didn't understand what was going on. And then he said, I want to talk to you. So they were in the lounge, yeah. And according to her, she was seated and Shaun was standing over her and was just lashing out. So she was watching like, dude, what's going on? So at that point, she was getting aggravated. And so she was telling him that, okay, at this point, you're scolding me in the presence of people, like people are watching, and it's not nice. You know, I'm not a child. Stop talking to me like a child. And Shaun did not stop. He kept on talking. As he was talking, in typical Shaun's fashion, he was gesticulating a lot. So that was sort of drawing attention. You know, people were noticing that they were having an argument. And so, because she had repeatedly told him to stop scolding her like a child, and he had refused, because he was like, I want to talk about it. She got up and walked away because she was equally mad at him. She was equally aggravated, and for her, he was disrespecting her, he was being rude to her, and she did not want to reciprocate that energy, so she walked away. Now, because she walked away, Shaun was now very mad. Guys, I mean, look at all the degrees of madness. Shaun was now very mad, and that was why she walked away into the kitchen to go and dish out food for, you know, people in the house. And Shaun followed, and then he was like, he wants them to talk about it. He wants them to talk about it. And according to, I think she said that the games area, Shaun just told, that was where Shaun told her to F off, like F off. And she was so angry. She was so angry. She didn't say anything. She went to the kitchen. She was dishing food. And Shaun came to her that, okay, he wants to talk about it now. He wants to talk about it now. And that was where we caught on, you know, where she was telling him that they shouldn't talk about it now because obviously she's trying to dish out food to people. There are a lot of people in the kitchen. She doesn't want people to, you know what's going on between them. If they were to talk in private, it's fine. You know, he can lash out, but not where there are other people. But ladies and gentlemen, everything I explained to all of you on my previous video about their fight, that was exactly what happened. It kept on going on and on. Now, he kept on insisting that he wanted them to have a talk about it. So they went to the laundry area in the garden, and it was the same thing. Shaun was still hammering, and he was still arguing. And she was like, Shaun, this is not the right time. Calm down. This is not the right time. I think she said, again, in the arena, he brought up the thing again. He wants them to talk about it now. And she's like, this is not the right place. Let's not talk about it. I'm getting aggravated. You're already aggravated. We're going to be at loggerheads with each other. Calm down. The guy refused to calm down. Ladies and gentlemen, according to Wanni, I think about 2 times or 3 times, Shaun had told her that he wanted them to talk about it like right now. As she had followed him, it was the same thing. Him overly gesticulating, overreacting, drawing people's attention to the drama that was happening between them. At that point in time, she was crying. I think it was the second time she was crying. Her sister was consoling her. Shaun had called her again that he wants to talk about it right now, like completely disregarding the fact that she was an emotional wreck at that point in time. He said he does not care. You know, if we don't talk to me, you don't talk to me, I don't care. But we have to talk about it. We have to trash it out. So, according to her, the guy was just being unnecessarily aggressive. And it was like he was really poking her. He wanted to get a reaction. And she's telling him, it's okay, it's okay. So the whole thing was just upside down yesterday. And guys, when Wanni was describing this whole situation, hey God, I was just laughing. Because when Shaun was telling his own side of the story, I knew something was off. When he was saying that, oh, people don't want him to be human, people don't want him to make mistakes. I'm like, bro, you have anger issues. You have serious anger issues. You need to sort yourself out. So Wanni was sharing her story and she was crying in the diary room because what really pained her the most, aside the disrespect, the insults, the rudeness and all whatnot, it was the fact that she kept on telling Shaun that she wasn't ready to have that conversation because she was already distraught. But Shaun kept on insisting. And according to her, that is typical of Shaun. When Shaun wants something now, you have to give it to him now. It has to be now. And when it is now, Shaun does not believe he's ever wrong. He believes that you are the one that is wrong. In fact, everything the sister told her last night, that Shaun is very manipulative. You know, whenever they even try to have a conversation, it's like he completely shuts her up. Even when she's trying to tell her own side of the story. For Shaun, you are the villain, you are the villain, you are the villain. He's the victim. He's the victim all the time. And so at this point, she's completely drained. She has had conversations with different housemates who witnessed this whole thing. And they told her to go have a conversation with Shaun. But she does not want to have a conversation with him because she's scared. She's scared because of how stubborn Shaun is. He never listens. He never believes he's wrong. He never believes he has done anything wrong to anybody. And so he's always constantly defensive. And she's tired of all of that. She's tired because even her sister has told her that even she too, she's tired because every time Shaun is upset, Ndi also gets disrespect thrown at her from Shaun. So she's tired because she cannot imagine doing all the things that she does for Shaun in the house. And then whenever they have issues, Shaun completely goes cold on her. No affection, he doesn't talk to her, he completely alienates her while she continues to do all the nice things she does for him. Cooking, doing laundry, and showing him respect. So at this point in time, she said she's tired and she does not think she wants to give him that energy anymore. Now, Biggie told her that maybe Shaun overreacted, but you know, it's not right to trivialize hurtful words that you use on someone you care about. If they tell you your words hurts them, do not trivialize it. And Wanni rightfully defended herself on that one. That was exactly what she did. She was asking Shaun, you know, why is the word weird offensive to you? But it was not particularly explaining. Instead, he was lashing out at her. And it was just quite frustrating because you cannot just be saying that, oh, this thing is offensive to you. A word that you know that I use all the time, all of a sudden it's offensive to you. Why exactly is it offensive to you? But Shaun was not explaining. Anyways, I love this last piece of advice Biggie had given to her, because people was asking her what she intended to do, and she said she honestly does not know, that she's actually scared of having a conversation with Shaun, you know, to avoid any further confrontation between both of them. So Biggie had told her that people that genuinely care about you do not revoke all of their love and affection towards you when you people have issues. Yes, that all this while she's being the one giving and giving and giving to Shaun. So maybe it's high time that she begins to receive. You know, she should be at the receiving end. And ladies and gentlemen, that is just it. That's the perfect advice to give to anybody in such a situation. But then again, an advice will always be an advice. The question is, will it be implemented? Will it be useful to that person? Because we're talking about Wanni here. Shaun knows the power he's got over this girl. Wanni cannot do without Shaun in that house. There's a way Wanni will stay now. Before the end of today, I won't be surprised if I see Wanni running to go and beg Shaun to go and apologize to him. Because, frankly speaking, game or no game, it's beginning to look like Wanni does not really know her self-worth. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. That's their diary session for you. I would love to hear your thoughts about it. For me, as I mentioned before, Shaun's diary session was a stellar performance. Yes, he twisted the whole narrative to favor himself, also brought emotional blackmail in the place of tears, got Big Brother to stroke his ego, got Big Brother to empathize with him, you know, and then he walked out of the diary room smiling like, oh yes, I have achieved my goal, you know, for the week or probably for the day. And then Wanni comes into the diary room, told her story as honestly as she could, received advice from Big Brother, but then we don't know if she's going to take that advice or if it's going to be useful to her. So ladies and gentlemen, this is where Glory Elijah is sitting down and waiting to see what's going to happen. If I see Wanni going to go and beg Shaun or even apologize to Shaun, then I'll know that indeed there's something wrong with that girl. It's either that or it's either she's playing the pity card using that relationship. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below, so please go ahead and share. I'll see you guys on another video soon. Thanks for watching and have an amazing evening. Bye.